Hey there, my meaty friends. Today I'll be making chicken parmesan, or chicken parm for short, or charm for even shorter. Chicken parm became popularized in the Northeast by Italian immigrants in the 1950s. The typical chicken parm consists of chicken cutlet that's breaded and fried, topped with sauce, and then cheese melted on top. We are not going to stray from this. We're going to start this recipe by taking a chicken breast and butterflying it. Feel free to remove any weird looking pieces if you so desire. Once you have your breast cheeks spread wide open, lay down a sheet of plastic wrap. Then, lay another sheet of plastic on top of that. If you have a meat mallet, use the flat side to flatten this to about a 1/4 inch thickness all over. You can also use a heavy bottom pan or a rolling pin to do this as well. Once it's flattened, we can move over to the oven and get the sauce started. I'll be using my Marinifredo recipe, which you can find in my cookbook, Becoming a Carnivorous Chef. Simply place a pan over medium heat along with 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, a 1/2 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, and a 1/2 teaspoon of granulated garlic. Let all this toast for about 1 minute in the butter. After that minute, add about 1 cup of heavy cream or half and half. Season it up with a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Once it starts to boil, reduce the heat to low and start sprinkling in a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. You want to add this slowly, a little at a time to keep the sauce from breaking and for being too lumpy. By the time you've added in all your cheese, you should be left with slightly orange sauce that tastes like an herb-filled Alfredo. Remove that from the heat and set aside while we get this hot breading action going. Add about 2 ounces of ground pork rinds to a plate. On another plate, crack an egg onto it and pour over about 3 tablespoons of cream or half and half. Add a 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan to your pork rinds and use those dirty paws to combine. Fork the egg and cream until homogeneous. Now, take your slim chicken breast and place it into your egg and cream mixture. Make sure to coat both sides and let the excess drip off. Then go into your cheesy pork rinds and start to press this in. If your pork rinds aren't sticking perfectly, you can also just pick up the pork rinds and stick them to the chicken by hand. This is also called the manual chicken stick, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Once your imperfect chicken is coated, bring it over to a pan that's set to medium-high heat with 3 tablespoons of butter melting. Once your butter is melted, carefully add your breaded chicken to the pan and cook for 2 to 3 minutes or until nicely golden brown on one side. This is so thin that we're not going to take very long to cook, so flipping it and letting it cook for another 2 to 3 minutes should suffice. Once you're satisfied with doneness, remove it from the pan and place it into a Silpat or foil-lined baking sheet. Top this chicken with your sauce, ensuring you coat it well. Then follow it up by shredding 2 ounces of low-moisture mozzarella, and then a light sprinkling of Parmesan cheese. Place this into your oven on low broil for about 2 to 4 minutes or until golden brown. Don't forget about it like I did because, as you can see, the edges and the pan are very angry about that. Remove this from the pan and be amazed by the golden brownness of it all. This tastes like chicken parm's cousin, chicken rich. Not to be confused with chicken shit, because holy shit, this is rich. But if you're looking for chicken parm, it hits the spot.